This is News 3 Now this morning.
They don't want any restrictions on size or numbers or anything like that. So we are what we are. We're the Wild West, and it's a frightening place to be.
Thanks for joining us on this Friday, May 15th. I'm Josh Breider with Lee Linscheid and Chris Stanford. You just heard the latest comments from Governor Evers regarding the now overturned Safer at Home order. Several counties and cities across the state now have their own orders in place following the Supreme Court's decision. They ruled to nullify the Evers administration's statewide Safer at Home order. Here's a look at the current list this morning. In our immediate area, Dane, Rock, Greene, and Marquette counties have all issued orders of their own. These are all there are also several in the southeast and northeast parts of the state. Right now, police are currently planning on how they will enforce those orders on a city and county level. Madison Police Chief Vic Wall says they will cite people or businesses if they needed, but they would rather not.
We'll continue to have the same perspective and philosophy when we are called to potential violations. We're going to try to educate and look for voluntary compliance. And for the most part, over the last few months, that's what we've been receiving. But still, it is an order. It's in place, and if need be, we can issue citations.
Now, the governor and the DHS secretary-designee are sticking to their positions on opening back up. Andrea Palm and Governor Evers are emphasizing the importance of science and data before Wisconsin can move forward. Palm says Wisconsinites have made strides thanks to social distancing and adds that it's important to keep safety measures in place to completely reopen the state, which she thinks needs to still happen in 3 phases.
What we have done so far together is working. DHS and our partners in this statewide response will continue to do the work of protecting the health and safety of Wisconsinites against this virus and safely reopen Wisconsin.
So if you're out and you find bars or restaurants to be too crowded, or maybe you feel uncomfortable, Governor Evers urges you to go home.
2 days after winning Wisconsin's 7th congressional district, Republican Tom Tiffany is calling for Palm's resignation because of how she handled the response to what he called the Wuhan virus. Governor Evers responded to that as well, calling the statement, quote, insane. Local doctors are also stressing that people continue following social distancing guidelines and wearing masks, even without a statewide order. UW Health Dr. Jeff Pothoff warns if we treat this state Supreme Court decision like a light switch, immediately going back out like normal, science shows we will see more COVID-19 cases. He says we need to make choices to protect our community.
It's not just about me and keeping myself safe, but it's also about making sure that my neighbor stays safe and that I don't put someone else in a really difficult, potentially life-threatening situation because of the choices that I chose to make.
Dr. Pothoff recommends people continue following guidelines from health experts.
The Diocese of Madison says it'll likely have a reopening plan early next week. Religious entities are considered essential businesses under the new guidelines from Public Health Madison and Dane County. The decision will allow people to attend services while still maintaining safeguards.
A Sauk County hair salon is getting ready to welcome back its customers next week. Sheer Trends in Baraboo has been closed for 8 weeks, which equals out to up to 500 lost appointments. Since the Safer at Home order was lifted, the owner is anxious to get clients back into the chairs, but not before doing everything possible to ensure safety. That includes putting plastic on all stylist chairs, bleaching everything from top to bottom, and giving customers a sanitized or disposable cape.
We do have a sanitation station that they will go to before entering the salon to gel up or go directly to the bathroom and wash their hands. So we've tried to think of anything that we could have just protect us and our customers.
The salon will be limited to 10 people. That does include stylists, and the shop also won't be using its blow dryers to avoid blowing around anything that's airborne. The owner is asking all customers to be patient during this time and know that her team is very excited to get back to work.
Historic 2nd Street, downtown Platteville, almost back to normal after the Safer at Home order was lifted. Dale Jacobs owns 4 bars in the area, and he says he jumped at the chance to get his businesses back up and running. Within minutes, the bars were open without restrictions, and dozens of people showed up. He says he's still making adjustments to make safety a priority.
We're changing on the run, making sure we got extra hand sanitizer and soap and mask for sure. But again, most people that come in know their limitations.
Jacob says his bars will respect whatever orders the city, county, or state puts in place in the future. Grand County Health Department say they'll issue an order if voluntary compliance doesn't work.
6:05 right now. Hattie's here.
All right, thank you, Hattie. 6:07 now. You will not see the farmers market up and running around the square on this beautiful Saturday, but it does have a new location and a new online platform during the pandemic.
Christina Laurie talked with some local vendors about the adjustments and when the market could return to the square. Hey, Christina.
Hi, Chris and Leah. For now, the country's largest producer-only market has traded in the Capitol Square for the Alliant Energy Center's Willow Island. Although just 20 vendors are participating right now compared to the upwards of 180 on a typical Saturday, market manager Sarah Elliott is working to grow that number. She says the county is working to figure out how many vendors this new system can handle, but more vendors are interested. Already participating vendors say they're thankful local shoppers continue to prioritize local produce and provide them with a steady stream of revenue. The new drive-up market, held every Wednesday and Saturday, requires some extra planning for shoppers. Customers place their orders at least a day in advance on the website sourcewhatsgood.com, and then they'll drive to pick them up between 3 and 6 on Wednesday afternoons or between 8 and noon on Saturday mornings. Elliott recommends customers choose just one day to shop. Some vendors sell out, so this allows more people a chance to buy local. But once you've picked your day, stock up and support as many different producers as you can. Elliott recommends customers save themselves a trip to the store and buy fresh veggies, hyper-local meats, farm-fresh eggs, delicious bakery items, bread, and more directly from producers. If you're only buying from one vendor, Elliott suggests connecting with them directly. Many are coordinating pickup outside of posted market hours. You can find all vendor contact information on the Dane County Market's website. This system is the market's new normal for the foreseeable future. In order for the market to move back to the square, a few things need to happen. Elliott says the state of Wisconsin needs to reinstate their permit. Then market managers would continue to work closely with public health officials to create a system that's safe for both customers and vendors. And I know many of us are looking forward to heading out to the square. Chris has never been there, so I know I'm working from my home and I always keep a freezer full of Stellas, but this is all I have left.
Christina.
You're going to run out soon.
Honey, you have to share some of that.
Short
oh my
supply.
gosh, that's hot stuff these days.
Good information this morning. Thank you, Christina. So the Madison Mallards are getting creative, finding ways to get people out to the duck pond. So they're going to be transforming the ballpark into a drive-in theater, and it opens up next Wednesday, May 20th. It'll feature the 2019 version of Aladdin. The first installment of the series will run from May 20th to the 26th. Tickets are limited and for sale on a per-car basis. $40 is what it'll cost you for a car. You got to buy the tickets in advance. Those tickets will go on sale tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Well, I'm going to have withdrawals from not being able to be in the duck blind, but this is a great opportunity to get out, do something during this pandemic.
I think it's a great idea, a unique opportunity to get out and see a movie safely at a really cool venue.
Little change of venue.
Yeah, and it gets us outside. Like, right. I think that's the biggest thing is we're also sick of being cooped up inside. So,
same, yeah.
Yeah, this is exciting news. All right, 11 minutes past 6 o'clock right now on a Friday morning. Waking up to some dense fog out there, so make sure that you take it slow out there and turn those headlights, those fog lights on as you head out this morning for safety, of course. If you're looking at the Madison maps right now, no crashes or delays to report. If you're heading down the Beltline, just a couple of delays popping up, the usual ones near Stoughton Road. But other than that, you shouldn't have too many issues as you head out on this Friday morning. That's a look at your first warn traffic. Coming up, we have the latest developments this morning as police investigate overnight reports of shots fired.
And after 8 months, police say that they have a suspect in custody for the murder of a Fitchburg teenager. That story's coming up.
Stay with us. News 3 Now this morning is back after this.
Developing right now, we expect to learn more today about an arrest in the murder of 17-year-old Shay Watson from Fitchburg. That shooting happened last August. Fitchburg police say they've arrested a 15-year-old boy as the primary suspect in the death of Watson. Due to his age, police and News 3 Now are not releasing his name at this time. On August 25th, family members found Watson dead inside their home on Lyman Lane. Fitchburg Police Chief Chad Brecklin says Watson and the suspect knew each other. They had arranged a meeting that police say ended up in the 15-year-old suspect fatally shooting Watson.
Regardless of the reason behind this senseless tragedy, we remain committed to bringing justice to anyone involved in this incident. our thoughts have remained with Shay's family as they continue to grieve, and following the arrest this morning, investigators met with Shay's mother to personally share the news.
Fitchburg police executed a search warrant in the city of Verona where they found narcotics, cash, and a firearm inside the home. The suspect has been booked on tentative charges of first-degree intentional homicide and armed robbery. Breaking overnight, Madison police say officers were called to Westbrook Lane after a caller reported hearing a gunshot twice. Police arrived on the scene around 12:40 this morning and heard an additional 4 shots. More officers were then called to the scene for a search, but were told they found no damage and no injuries have been reported.
There is someone in jail this morning accused of accidentally firing a gun into a neighbor's apartment. It happened at a building on West Wilson Street downtown yesterday, just before 5. Officers say they did find the person responsible, who admitted to playing around with the gun and accidentally firing it through the wall. No one was hurt. That person is currently in the Dane County Jail facing charges from the investigation.
A big burglary bust in Juneau County. Deputies have arrested 11 suspects accused in a string of residential and business burglaries. It's the result of a months-long investigation. Investigators say they recovered several stolen pieces of property and have now solved 28 property crimes. These arrests also helped the La Crosse Police Department and a big drug investigation they were doing, leading to even more arrests.
6:17 right now with the weather warming up. Some of you may be getting your pools ready.
All right, Hattie, we'll check back in with you in a couple minutes. Amazon says it will start mass producing hundreds of thousands of protective face shields for medical workers. The plastic shields snap onto a 3D printed headpiece, and they are approved by the National Institutes of Health. Amazon says they've donated 10,000 to health workers so far, with another 20,000 on the way. The company also says it's trying to develop coronavirus testing capacity. CVS says it will open more than 50 drive-through test sites in 5 states today. That's happening in Arizona, Connecticut, Florida, Massachusetts, and Pennsylvania, and that's just the start. Over the next 2 weeks, the pharmacy plans to announce hundreds of additional sites around the country. The company expects to have 1,000 locations up and running by the end of May. The goal here is to eventually be able to process 1.5 million tests every month.
Many Americans are struggling to pay rent right now, and so is Starbucks. Now the company is asking landlords for a break. The Starbucks CEO wrote landlords of stores all over the country. The letter asked that the landlords adapt to new realities, including an estimated $225 billion hit to the American restaurant industry over the next 3 months. He says social distancing because of COVID-19 has just battered Starbucks sales. Since last year, Starbucks quarterly earnings have fallen by half. The company recently announced it would reopen 90% of its nearly 9,000 company-owned stores here in the U.S. by early June. And more bad news for the airline industry this morning. Delta says by fall, it will have about 7,000 more pilots than it needs. An internal memo says that Delta is closing its pilot base now in Cincinnati. It also permanently will be grounding all of its Boeing 777s. Those are the ones used for those long international flights. So about 1/3 of Delta's employees are already on leave, and now the company says it's looking into voluntary employee departure programs. In the future, Delta says it'll be a smaller airline with fewer employees.
Nearly half the people who work for Carnival Cruises in Florida are losing their jobs. Of the 3,000 employees in Florida, 820 are permanently laid off. 537 are furloughed. The pandemic has hit the cruise industry hard. There's no clear answer yet on when major lines will be able to return to the sea. The CDC's no-sail order is set to expire July 24th. Cruise lines like Carnival were also cut out of the coronavirus stimulus package since their ships aren't registered in the U.S.
6:20 is your time, and just ahead we have the final winner of our Safe at Home Challenge this morning.
And as we move toward going back to work, you might be looking for childcare for your kids. Coming up in our next half hour, we're taking a look at how local daycares are preparing to safely reopen.
Stay with us. Time right now is 6:20. We'll be right back.
Welcome back at 6:24. We are unrolling the submissions from our final Safe at Home Challenge this morning.
Yep, we asked you to send us your biggest accomplishment during quarantine. We cast a wide net here, and you folks certainly stepped up.
That's right. Here is one of our runners-up this morning. They made this entire quilt as a graduation present for their niece.
Wow.
Impressive.
Do you know how long it takes to make a quilt?
I have no idea.
Incredible.
No idea. This seems impressive, though.
We're impressed, folks. All right, another runner-up this morning. Spent the past few weeks learning to ride
I love it.
a unicycle.
That is impressive.
Wow.
And here's the winner. These folks built a whole deck. That looks great.
Okay, that is stunning.
Have you guys done anything or learned anything or picked up a new hobby or
I told
projects?
you earlier I was trying to reteach myself guitar, bought the book off Amazon, broke out the guitars.
How long did that
out
last?
of tune, an hour. Collecting dust
This is
in
what
the
A for
living
effort.
room.
Hey,
I've
my
made
kids
it
are all still
through.
living.
I've made it through 7 seasons of Grey's Anatomy, so there's that.
Oh, we're killing it here.
Yeah.
I got dinner on the table every night. That's
Yeah, I know.
what
Hattie and I
There
are
you
just trying to survive the day.
Staying alive.
With the kiddos, you know.
Well, hey, congrats to today's winner. We're going to be sending you a gift card to a local business.
All right, well, this morning.